and then just like get paid $5 for it.
Isn't there like a rule on the internet that like there's a fetish for everything? Like there's a
I think you're
porn or a
thinking
fetish for
yeah,
everything? Like rule number or something.
Rule 34.
34. There you
Basically, yeah. The idea is anything you can think of, someone's probably come up with a pornographic version of it.
Wow. Somebody, I think the first time somebody ever brought that phrase to me, it was in the worst way. It was like, yeah, if you can imagine it, it exists on the internet. For example, and they're like, you like Chippendales? And I'm like, yeah. You like Gadget? And I'm like, oh yeah, Gadget's cool. And they're like, there's Gadget porn. And I'm like, no. Like that's not good at all. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, Rule 34 can really ruin you.
It's horrible. That's horrible.
So are we? So we're doing a new episode. 2 weeks. 2 weeks later.
2 weeks. 2 weeks later, man. 2 weeks later. 2 weeks.
Is this episode 29?
29.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Episode number 29. We're on the 29th episode.
Oh.
Wow. Is that a special number?
No, I forgot to post the last episode to the podcast service.
Oh well, we'll give them a double. We'll give them like we'll package it, make it seem like it's something good that they're getting, and then they're just like, oh wait, we just got what we were missing.
Well, see, the problem is YouTube doesn't let me download this video until like 24 hours after it goes live. So
true. Okay.
So that was something crazy. I can't remember.
And here's that coffee mug I was telling y'all about.
See, I just love the shape of that.
The shape of it.
I just love the shape of that. It just looks good. That's so good. Yeah, I told Ashley I found this one just randomly in my cabinet, and I saw that it had this liner. I was like, wow, this has got this liner. Let me see if it'll be any good. And like this thing keeps my coffee hot, so I've been guiltily doing that. How's the bubbly water, man? That I've always wondered about those. I just don't like sparkling water.
It tastes like sparkling water.
I can't ever get over sparkling water. I like regular water and soda. I don't like soda water.
It's supposed to be blueberry pomegranate, but no sweeteners, no calories, all smiles. Bubbly. Got a cool top.
Yeah, there's also another brand. I can't remember the name of them. They'll have them in the organic section, and it's like the different flavored sodas. But I've tried them, and I didn't like them all that much.
Well, I'm trying to stay away from the sodas. So this is, when I want that fizz, got to have that fizz.
Yeah, when I gotta have my fizz, I get that sugar-free A&W. It's the best.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand the sweetener stuff.
I can't either, but the zero sugar, like some of the zero sugar stuff they've started to come out with have gotten a lot better. Like Diet Coke is still the worst, but like when you get into Coke Zero and Pepsi Zero and stuff, they've kind of gotten better at the aftertaste crap.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, if I drink it for a while and get used to that, it's the headaches that come with the.
Do it.
The caffeine headaches.
Not caffeine.
Okay.
Something with the sweetener.
Oh,
that fake sweetener. I don't know. Who knows?
So, on to our show that's basically pop culture centered around toys.
Yes.
Well, it's a new episode of That Toy Life. I guess.
What kind of toys? Yeah, you are. I mean, you can take over and do the whole show if you want to.
I don't have the clout for that, so.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
but you definitely have the toys.
You've done 28 episodes. You've got clout.
It's that clout, man. So tell me, what's the new in the toy world for you guys? We bought anything, found anything, stumbled across anything, something hit us in the face?
As far as toy hauls go, this is the only thing that I got this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, U.S. Agent, which does not look like U.S. Agent from the Falcon and Winter Soldier series.
Oh, it looks decent.
Notice the color scheme is all off. This is supposed to be red and white stripes.
Yeah.
They're red and black. My belt is upside down on my figure. Freaking upside down. What's up with that? I didn't even notice it when I did the YouTube review. Somebody just pointed it out just a few minutes ago. Said, QC issue, dude.
Maybe.
Wow.
I look at some comments recently, that had to do with Star Wars Black Series figures in a subreddit about it. And yeah, does seem to be a consensus of like Hasbro with how they've been doing lately. A lot of like asset reusage, and sometimes it's poorly reused. And something I never even picked up on was the concept. There are gaming greats concepts, right? All the Black Series gaming greats figures.
Yep.
I think someone pointed out nothing in those is actually an original mold. Everything else it's always reused. It's like maybe a different color scheme, or maybe there's a different shine to the color. Maybe it's got like that shiny coating on it.
Right.
But nothing is ever nothing's an original mold. Now I was thinking, yeah, that's true, because like I have the light side Revan. It's literally just a Revan figure, but it's just different colors. That's all. That's just recolored.
Well, typically when they make the toys, the tooling cost is the biggest chunk of change for the toy.
Yeah.
So when they can reuse that body part or whatever, they're going to reuse that body part just because it saves them money.
Yeah.
They could just slap a different coat of paint on it
and hope nobody notices.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of, like when Mattel was doing the DC Multiverse, you had, the Four Horsemen doing all the sculpting for that. And they just reused parts left and right because there wasn't really much to sculpt. I mean, it was pretty much the costume was painted on.
Yeah.
Unless there was something that, really needed to stick out. So, I mean, a lot of that series is pretty much reused parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that is something though, like with Hasbro recently, because like I haven't been able to pick up many figures recently with them. Like I've after I got the Sam, the Mace Windu figure re-release, I got the Qui-Gon that I was after. We pre-ordered the Bo-Katan figure and finally got that in for my wife. So
which is
excellent. Finally got it. So
nice.
So it took forever, but ThinkGeek finally got it in, so we've got that ordered, and then we've got Scarlet Witch pre-ordered from the Vision Scarlet Witch show or whatever. WandaVision, yeah. So we'll have that, and then we've got that's pretty much it for right now. But that Bo-Katan figure looks great. I mean, it looks really, really good. But like I've noticed that the output with Hasbro lately has been kind of weird. Yeah. I mean, I like those comic book or the old EU figures that are coming out, and I've seen a few of them out. But there's nothing really big to write home about. I still haven't even come across an Asajj Ventress in stores. That's what's crazy. That's the one I was actually looking for, and I haven't even come across her before.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's.
All I see is I see Grief Karga and Quill all over the place, and that's all I see.
Yeah.
See, so answer me this, either of y'all, like maybe you've done some more action figure pre-ordering than I have, because I never really paid attention to pre-orders for action figures except maybe Lego stuff. But were dates, like maybe pre-COVID, were dates ever concrete, or was it like it's been lately? Like there's never any set date for when something's going to come out.
There's a ballpark. There's always been a ballpark, like a quarter, quarter to 2020 or something like that. And most of the time, I guess they would meet that quarter, but it's tough.
See, it's weird. Like it makes you wonder, like what's the point in the pre-orders if you can't, if you can't get a date, where somebody can get any kind of guarantee on when they're ever going to get it. Because the whole concept of pre-ordering is you're putting money down as a guarantee that you are going to get a product. And then, we come across, we've seen it, Ashley, with the Facebook group that, I see people countlessly, talk about how often their pre-orders are canceled, for one reason or another. Target's a big problem with it. I think Walmart's been doing pretty bad with it, because they're overselling their pre-order numbers, I guess. And then they realize, we're not going to be getting as many, or we don't know when we're going to get it. So we might as well just, cut our losses and, give them back their money if we've already taken it, I guess.
And it's crazy too, because you see people post, I found this in this store, like actual physical Walmarts, and people who pre-ordered the item are sitting there Where's my figure? This dude over here is getting, already got his.
I mean, a topic of the week, the Justice League figures. We've all got at least one figure pre-ordered in one way or another, and I've seen plenty of people post, finding them in stores. But I think, a lot of those people were overseas, though, weren't they?
Or there are people in the US.
At first it was a lot of overseas.
Yeah, now it's
but now I've been noticing, people have been like suddenly just finding all of them, like red suit, the red and blue suit Superman, the Bruce Wayne with no mask, all the variants. I'm like, huh? Yeah, but
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't been to a Target to see just recently if they've gotten any of that yet. I need to check and see. I do know that my pre-order, the red and blue suit Superman pre-order, got pushed to September. So
wow,
yeah.
I wonder if that's a placeholder thing though, because
probably.
if I remember correctly,
it's been pushed and pushed. So yeah, it could be.
Well, if you remember now, do you remember the year though? Because from what I remember of what year it was pushed to, it was like September 2099.
Oh, yeah, you're saying September 29th.
I think it's like a placeholder until they can figure out when you're actually gonna.
You'll get that in 70 years. But no,
I don't
know. What I hate though is somebody posted today. They picked up all of the regular Zack Snyder figures, not any of the variants or anything, at a Walmart on clearance.
Oh yeah,
$15.88 a pop.
Because I think people that have been getting them for that price, they've been mentioning something like they're not like actually inventoried into the system yet. So whenever they ring up, they're not getting a price. So the cashier I think they just guesstimate around 15 or so bucks and charge them that much for it.
Yeah, that's what I get for reading the headline. Just looking at a picture and reading, not reading into the article.
Yeah,
it looks like mine's. It says September. Whoops! You'll see arriving Wednesday, September 16th.
Yep.
So,
I need to look if I've had any of mine pushed back. I'll do that later. But yeah, well, we could do though. Segue, since we're talking about DC stuff, could do Ray's unnecessary recommendation of the week.
Go ahead.
There's this little name show neither of y'all have heard of. No one's ever brought it up before. It's called Invincible. It's about this superhero kid who's got a father, and he's a superhero.
I've been wanting to watch that.
Saw the first episode, and it's really, really good. So I'm going to continue watching that.
That's not my recommendation, but I actually have started watching it. I'm about 4 or 5 episodes in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm digging it. I'm liking it. Great voice acting. You can't go wrong. J.K. Simmons.
Oh yeah.
He's my favorite part of it so far. Like just his voice acting. I mean, the person he's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending to episode 1 was a shocker.
Wild.
I was like, whoa.
When
Just wait. It gets so much better.
I'd say I kind of have 2 recommendations. First one, actually, Sweet Tooth. I will say, it's a Netflix show. We're about halfway through it now. Episode 4 or 5 we finished. Great show, great little post-apocalypse, but it's a very bright post-apocalypse kind of fantasy-like story. It's it reminds me a little bit of The Last of Us in that. So many people when they do post-apocalypse stuff, they're kind of very dreary-looking environments, and I think with stuff like The Walking Dead and then The Last of Us, also they start pushing for this kind of view that you can have a lush world around you because that's what really happens in an without people there, nature is going to reclaim what it had before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very lush setting, very beautiful, even though it's very kind of bleak at times, but never gets too bleak. There is a lot of hope to the story, but it's a fun story. I don't want to give too much away about what the plot is, but I'd say if neither of you have tried it out yet, give it a shot. Like, it's great.
Have you read the comic?
I see. The funny thing is the way I got into the show was I'd only heard about it, and then a friend of mine asked me if I'd watched it. And I said, I've heard about it, but I haven't watched it. And apparently he was a big fan of the comics, and he was skeptical about watching it because I think he's kind of he's kind of iffy about adaptations.
Yeah.
I figured, I've been thinking about it, so I went ahead and started the first episode, and me and Brittany, we got hooked. And I told him like right after I finished the first episode, I loved it. I mean, you might not like it. I have no stakes in it because I haven't read the books. I've seen the covers now. I've looked at them, and very different art. The artwork is very. It's I think it's an indie kind of comic a little bit. It's Jeff Lemire who wrote it.
But it's I think it was a Vertigo.
It's Vertigo.
So it was a DC property.
But yeah, it was, not so much indie, but I mean, like it's not it's an original storyline. It's not like
The books are very good. That's why I was wondering if it.
But it's very good. And the other, kind of recommendation, kind of also just something I got. Batman Earth 1 Volume 3.
Sweet.
Finally got this. 6 years in the making, apparently. Jeff Johns, you took long enough to make it.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that it felt like a long time, right?
Oh, yeah. Volume 2, 2015. That was when Volume 2 came out. Finally came out this year. I mean, there were a lot of mitigating factors in what caused it to take so long because, he was doing a lot of other stuff. And also he was doing Doomsday Clock, him and Gary Frank. So that probably put a big slowdown on it. And also with the Earth 1 books, there's not really DC. I think they've said that, they don't really set any deadlines on the people who are working on them just because they want that kind of prestige format. So they don't want to rush them and compromise the quality of what that person wants to do. So a lot of factors. I'm glad it's finally out. It was great. The art is outstanding. I don't know if it tops Volume 2. It's very good. Very cool, like stuff you do see Catwoman. Like their Earth 1 version of Catwoman is very cool. I don't know if I want to spoil how she looks like. She's got a cool inspiration, and they mention it in the story. Very different from any Catwoman I've ever seen before. I dig it. It feels very Gary Frank like in terms of just so Catwoman. You see some other cool stuff. I don't want to give any more away than that, but it does directly kind of continue the events of Volume 2. So it takes place 1 month after Volume 2 it starts. So
try to check that out. Yeah,
very good. Yeah, if you enjoyed Batman Earth 1 Volume 2, head on over, get Volume 3. Yeah. And that is Ray's recommendations of the week.
For the week.
Unnecessary.
I really need to come up with a jingle.
I'll tell you what, here's something I'll recommend not wasting your time with.
Yeah.
Those who wish we did.
Anybody? No. Wait a minute. What was that one? Which movie was that one?
I kind of I did actually enjoy it a bit, but the Angelina Jolie, Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah. That one's pretty good. No, that one's all right. But no, I'm talking about one you definitely need to stay away from. Well, first off, let me ask you this: are y'all fans of The Conjuring?
You watched The Devil Made Me Do It?
I watched that one. It was boring. I mean, I feel like all of them start to kind of blend together. Every movie, I mean, it's almost like songs from artists that you don't care about, so they all blend together. So you'll think all 4 songs were the same person. They're like, oh no, it's 4 different people.
Yeah.
So like The Conjuring is kind of like that. It's like every movie I'm just like, oh, okay, I got it. Okay, he's devil. I got you. And I just go to sleep, and like it just it's boring. So the new one, no different. The only thing is there's actually a pretty good like major villain at the very end of it. But anyway, that got me to, have any of y'all had an interest in watching that new Saw movie with Chris Rock, Spiral?
Well, I would have had to seen the first Saw movie.
Well, I was going to say, I haven't seen any Saw movies, so that preference is for you. I don't know anything about them. I don't care about them.
Well, they've said that you can watch this without having to watch the Saw movies because technically it's the only connection it has is that it's in the same universe. That's it.
Yeah, okay. All that stuff has happened in the past. They do reference it and reference, I think, the guy behind it all or whatever.
Yeah,
but what an awful movie. Like, I mean, I didn't care to watch it anyways, but like my wife was really, really wanting to watch it. And my saving grace was, okay, well, I mean, Chris Rock and Sam Jackson are in it. I'll support it. And I really wanted to, but when you can figure out the plot of the movie, like the twist of the movie, and you can figure it all out in 10 minutes, but the entire time the movie thinks it's kind of going,
hey, wait.
It is bad.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I've just watched the trailers, right?
Okay.
That's all I've ever seen. I've seen like 1 or 2 trailers.
Okay.
Is the bad guy his dad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I know the plot. So I mean, if you want to do a spoiler alert and reveal it, go ahead. I got no stake in it.
I just thought it was his dad because
it was dumb. You get into this movie. Spoiler alert for the listeners and viewers or whatever.
I get yours.
Like now, let me start off by saying Chris Rock is great in the movie. It's as good as he can be. Mm-hmm. Sam Jackson is really good in the movie. He's actually playing his father. And what it is his father's like a well-known cop, a respected cop, and then Chris Rock is trying to pave his own path, but he's, his father's the famous detective or whatever.
Yep.
And then you get into like some backstory and all that. Basically, his father ties more into the story than you realize, but he gets a partner at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, the partner did it.
And it was the partner, because there was even parts in the movie where it was obviously like, I got to step out and kill somebody real quick. I'll be back. And then he leaves. And you're like, wait, the partner's not the killer, is it? It was dumb. And then it's dumb.
Wait, did you go to the movies? You actually went to the theater?
Oh, no. I watched it at home. No, it's just dumb though. It's a waste of time. Don't watch that movie. Don't watch The Conjuring.
We actually did watch that one last weekend. The Conjuring 3, the Devil Made Me Do It. We didn't go in with high hopes. We actually did enjoy the first 2, but mainly because James Wan's direction, it makes it a fun story to watch. But I know the history of the oh god, I've already forgotten I'm blanking on their names.
I know the history of the
couple.
It's real? Yeah. The real people. Yeah, they're supposed to be real people, but these movies are like super.
It makes them out to be. It makes them out to be like they're
superhuman
gods.
Yeah,
but I'll give it to them in the movie universe. They're really cool. Oh, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Yeah, the Warrens. Because they made their bones off. Their famous bones off the Amityville stuff. That was their big thing that got them in prominence, and they're basically kind of charlatans. But the movie universe, the movie stuff kind of plays with this idea of what if the universe was as they made it out to be. You had all these supernatural, mean, evil forces, and the visuals and James Wan stuff made it worth watching. He made a compelling story out of it. This new one, it wasn't compelling. And the part where I got eye-rollingly was like I kind of started to check out a little bit, and Brittany did too. Was when they started bringing up the Satanists are involved, because this takes place early 80s. This was in the midst of the satanic panic stuff, where people were getting in so much trouble over being coerced. Kids were coerced into basically saying their parents were Satanists, stuff like that, and so, because everybody was scared, over panicking. And second that happened, I was like, oh, this is where we're going with this one. Oh god. And because they weren't playing it like Satanic Panic, they were playing it Satan is real, that panic is real. I was like, oh, just tone deaf.
So let me tell you a story, because you bring that up. And when I was like maybe 6 or 7, I was playing not T-ball, the league right above T-ball. So it's baseball for rec department. At the end of one of the games one night, the coach, got all the players around him, and then got all the parents to come in, and he gave this spiel about how, I guess, one of the cops came up there to talk to somebody, and apparently they had gotten rumors that the devil worshippers were in people's houses. So, be careful. They're running around Washington County. So I remember that's, I'm a kid. I was like, oh my gosh, it's scaring the crap out of me. The devil worshippers going to kill us. And so we got in the car, and my mom literally made my dad go in the house and search through the house you know, when we got home before we could go in. I mean, and you talking about something freaking somebody out, man, that freaked me out for a long time. I was like scared to be at home by myself because the devil worshippers were coming to get me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You know, all that, I mean, all that hysteria led, and then it led to that whole, the West Memphis 3 stuff that happened with all that. I mean, it was a lot of craziness.
So let's get into the good, let's get to the good graphic details of the West Memphis 3. Yeah.
They are free.
Memphis 3. They're free. Oh God, I'm not going to say that. That's too dark. I was about to say they're free in heaven. But
what did they do? I mean, I don't know. What's the story?
It was
just 3 kids that got accused for something they didn't do.
I remember seeing them getting out.
Some kids got like brutally murdered, and a boy because he was an outsider type, very kind of gothy and stuff, and he got accused of it, and he eventually got exonerated. But people still, because they got to double down on their their stubborn. I don't know what you want to say. But yeah, they still, say, I bet it was him. He just got away with it.
I mean,
I remember those devil worshippers played the Dungeons and Dragons. I remember that was one of the things you needed to watch for when we were being told about this.
And you were probably thinking like, "Oh Lord, I better go home and put up my Dungeons and Dragons stuff." I bet they can smell it.
And the funniest thing about that is, growing up, I just realized, if you find up anybody who actually is like considered part of the Church of Satan, they're usually the most normal people you meet. Like, because they don't, they're just like, because like Church of Satan doesn't like, they're not even really, they're not spiritual in any way. It's a play on the idea, but they're very secular. So they do a lot of, from what I remember, if I recall correctly, they do a lot of charity work and stuff like that. They volunteer and stuff. Yeah, just like typical, basically like you do the good church stuff without doing religious churchy stuff. You're just helping people.
Gotcha.
But they do it in the name of Satan.
Yeah. I think that plays a part into it because of the icon, the iconoclast like nature of it. You're messing, with this norm that, has been built up over, centuries almost.
Yeah. Basically a bunch of people it's basically a group of people that don't take, they're basically taking something that's super serious and not taking it serious at all, but trying to reap all the benefits from it or show that you can reap benefits from it or something. I don't know. Weird stuff, man. But no, speaking of toys.
Yes, let's get back to the toys.
Well, no, I was going to say, I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, NECA's got to be coming out soon with these Batman figures. And has anybody heard any news yet on like, number one, is there any Batman Returns news stuff? Like, are they going to release a Batman Returns suited NECA figure or anything like that? Because I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything, man.
So NECA is going to be making some Batman figures.
Well, they're doing the Batman Returns like Catwoman and Penguin, they're going to do another Batman. The Batman is listed too, but it's like the first movie Batman. But that's weird because he's coming out. They're like re-releasing him along with Batman Returns, Catwoman, and Penguin. But I'm like, y'all need to put out a Batman Returns Batman. Like that would be great. Because
so does that mean like so does NECA? So McFarlane doesn't have like an exclusive deal right now to make
maybe
DC characters?
Well, see, I think we had talked about that before, and maybe it's something to do with like certain properties or certain movies, because I think we saw that he was
Batman Returns.
Well, I was going to say because he's movies. Yeah, I was going to say because McFarlane's doing those Schumacher toys, so maybe they're going to focus on those because NECA is doing the Batman and Batman Returns.
Are you sure they haven't like already done that? And like
who hasn't? Who am I sure who has done what?
NECA.
Am I sure that NECA has what?
Hasn't already done those and released them like a few years ago?
They could have, but they're coming out with at least re-releases. I know the first Batman suit is a re-release, but it's a big figure. It's not a action figure. It's like a whatever you call those, the bigger ones, the big doll sized NECA figures. They're coming out with like Catwoman, and I don't think she's come out before for NECA.
The real Batman figure.
Oh, okay, I see. Yes, okay.
Part of the Real Doll brand.
No, they're 1/4 scale figures.
No, sir.
Yeah, these are 1/4 scale figures. Penguin, Catwoman. They're still scheduled for pre-order. I'm looking on BigBadToyStore.com.
Right.
I don't see a Batman at all. All I see is
last I saw was a Batman, but it was Batman like '89 Batman.
Yeah, I don't,
and it was a re-release.
I don't see those. You know, typically if they were up for pre-order, they would still be on the site. The only thing that I see is Catwoman and Penguin. Penguin's already in stock. You could get that. Catwoman is scheduled to ship.
You can get that.
Well, it doesn't really say.
It's neat that you'll be able to use
June. Okay, estimated to arrive this month.
Sweet. It's neat that you can like interchange with her mask or like the one with her hair out and stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yep.
Speaking of superhero like figures, I didn't even realize apparently because it's NECA brand also the Homelander figure for the boys, that and the Annie January Starlight figure, apparently those are already out too.
Yeah, and they're starting to hit. I saw pictures of people finding them in stores.
Yeah, I'd love. Yeah, if I found,
you probably could find them in Walmart.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, if I found Homelander, I might get it. I love a Butcher. Like I'd love a Billy Butcher figure more, but yeah, I probably might get a Homelander if I saw it.
I think the latest thing that I've seen NECA, however you say it, has come out with on store shelves is the Universal Frankenstein monster.
I've heard about that. Yeah. I think I've seen some pictures of it from people buying it.
It looks pretty good. I mean, it looks really good. I'm not my cup of tea, but still looks really good.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of horror stuff though recently.
Like, I mean, we've got the Scream NECA figure, for Halloween. We're gonna get that, and we're gonna put that up.
And we want to get Michael Myers figures.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were gonna try to get Michael. I told her I'd prefer to get the newest one, maybe.
Me too.
From the newest movie, but I was gonna say that or the Halloween 2 one that's out.
Oh yeah.
And now we've got the Toonie Terrors. We've got the Halloween 2 Toonie Terrors, Michael Myers, but
I do like with that Halloween. Halloween 2, I do like it. When I finally sat down and watched it, because my history of watching the Halloween movies is completely out of order. The first one I ever watched was Halloween 4, and then it was like part of Halloween 5. Then I think H2O at some point. Then I finally went back and watched the original Halloween. And then maybe about 2 years ago, I actually sat down and watched all of Halloween 2. It was interesting because it was much more slashery than I was expecting it to be. Like I thought it was going to be more prowlery, like the first one. Relies much more on the suspense than the outright just him going around killing people. But one thing I noticed that was really cool was that they did like a very long take, very much like, in the 2018. So I guess the 2018 movie was inspired by that moment. There's that one big long shot of him walking down the street while, all the stuff's happening around him. I think cops are running by to go check out, an accident that had happened and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a fun movie, but you're talking about you're wanting the Halloween 2 figure, right?
Yeah, because the NECA Halloween 2, I think it kind of incorporates the first two movies.
Yeah, interchangeable
heads.
Yeah,
one of them I think has that
bleeding eyes from.
Yeah, I think one of them has that. Yeah. So yeah, that would be probably the one to get if we didn't get the newest one. But yeah, I mean that's just an idea because we here and there we'll pick up toys and stuff that are like Halloween themed for Halloween this year and stuff. But it's pretty neat.
Ooh.
So what's actually got here?
So you screwed up my intro, Austin. I had a whole thing planned out before you shared it.
All you had to do was just start over. You didn't see anything.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Shut up.
So what's the most you would pay for a 7-inch figure?
I'd pay $300. I'd pay $250.
No, you screwed it up. You screwed
it up. I'm ashamed to say I think you go first, Austin.
I would pay $5. No, the most I would pay for a figure. The most I would pay for it, like what size?
Like 7-inch scale figure. So
before you go any further, add this onto it. Is it just one figure, or is it going to be like an ultimate set figure that comes with a lot of accessories, or is it just Mainly figure, maybe 1 or 2 accessories.
Okay, so
I'd say dial it down and give a basic amount of accessories.
Yeah,
so kind of like just a regular Black Series type figure that might have one like a Jedi with a lightsaber.
No, I would say I'd go a little bit further. Okay, so you have an alternate head, maybe a couple of sets of hands, a couple of weapons.
$25. I really don't see those things hitting $30. When I pay $30 for any of my NECA figures, I flinch because that's too much money for a.
Oh well, guess what, homie?
7-inch
Hasbro's going up on their prices here in a couple of months.
Yeah, because
$26.99 now. $26.99 for all your Black Series in Marvel Legends. But anyway, that's not the point. Okay, so what would you pay?
Me? I just told you $25. Yeah,
25.
30 to 35, maybe, depending on the figure. It depends on how much I want the particular character. Okay. So if it is someone I really want, I will like increase. I will consider how much I will be willing to pay. When I paid. I mean, I'm ashamed to say this, but that Din Djarin set that I got, with Mando that has the head come off, all the accessories. Mm-hmm. That was almost $60 right there.
And I'm not saying, buying something, second on the secondary market, like it's been out for a while and you pay $70.
But I'm saying like in that respect. Yeah. I'm just saying like, as in showing that, I am willing to put some money down if it is something that I really, really want.
Gotcha.
I'd say just straight up retail 30, 35. I can kind of go into there.
Okay, so director, put up the steel here. Okay, so this is Super 7's brand new Silverhawks line, Ultimates line of Silverhawks. Now, do y'all know? Are y'all familiar with Silverhawks?
Nope.
So this is like an 80s classic cartoon. I mean, when I was growing up, I had Silverhawks. The Silverhawks, the good guys, you could probably tell, are those over there in the gray. But the suits were actually vac metal as a kid, right? So they look really, really cool. They were chromed out, all that kind of good stuff. And of course, Super 7's Ultimates line, they're always expensive. But I don't get it when you compare these figures with like other figures. I'm not going to count this guy right here because he stands like 10 inches tall or something, because in scale with the others, and he's absolutely ridiculous. But like the good guy here, Quicksilver. So he comes with, okay, what does that look like? 3 sets of alternate hands, some silly blaster, effects, alternate head, some alternate arms so he can get his wings out, and that bird up there. That's a $55 figure. $55 freaking dollars, brand new. I mean, who's gonna pay? I mean, you can see $250 for 4 figures.
So that I was gonna ask. So that price is for all 4 of them together.
Yeah, and the big guy that I just showed you, he's a little bit more pricey because he's just so much bigger.
Oh yeah.
But this is the same company that puts out those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Ultimates line, and they're $55 a figure. Thundercats, $55 a figure. Some of those cool Disney figures they have coming out, $55. I just don't get how can this company sell these figures for $55? I mean, it seems like they're more than making enough money off of it. They're like screwing over the consumer. Especially when you compare this to similar figures that don't cost anywhere near this. Like,
there is a lot of that. The price does it does seem very confident. Is there an established enough fan base you think that people will, pay this money for this?
I don't know. So they say that these are made basically to order.
Oh,
so they get however many people that buy into them, that's the amount that get made. Now, none of those numbers are ever released because you got companies like Big Bad Toy Store who buy in bulk. They just say, okay, you release this, we're buying X number of cases to resell on our site. So I'm sure that helps increase the number. but still, I mean, even the Thundercats, which are more popular than the Silverhawks, $55. I just, it blows my mind how you can pay or force people to pay $55 for this figure. And here we go. So let's look at another figure, something that I have actually purchased, and I'm just waiting for it to ship.
I think about that price now. I compare it thinking about figures. I'm thinking realistically of characters that I would want, and I would say straight up, I wouldn't pay straight from my wallet directly. I maybe with credit, like say PayPal or something, maybe that way. Maybe I think about it. But yeah, straight up, right out of my wallet, 55 is way too much. Yeah.
So look at this guy. This is, a guy named Bobby Vala is bringing back Action Force, which was G.I. Joe over in the UK. They just renamed it to Action Force. So the license expired on that name. Or, I mean, not the license, but the copyright. So he, went out and said, okay, I'm going to grab the copyright to this. And this is not a G.I. Joe figure by any means. He's made up his own new universe. But just himself, $31.99, and look at all the crap you get with that figure. I mean, that's a figure, too. 2 heads, torso. I mean, a jacket.
Oh yeah, $31.99. That's a good price for that.
With clips, actually removable clips. The guns are painted. All those hands, a base there, a belt. I mean, that is just for $31.99.
That's not bad at all.
Are they has that company been around for a bit? Valivers?
No, this is his first foray. But now this guy had, he's worked for
big names,
big toy companies, a sculptor.
So he's made his bones.
Yeah. So this is his this is how I'm going to make my money. I'm going to create this brand and put it out. And as you can see, there's quite a few figures that he put out. He even got licensed Sergeant Slaughter to get that. I mean,
that looks good too.
That looks cool,
great.
Man.
I would own that out of any of it because I'm not as familiar with all of it, but I would own that. That's great.
Yeah. So, I just comparing that, what you get with that compared to what you get with those Ultimates figures. And I know the Ultimates figures are, Super 7 has to pay a licensing fee to create those things, but I still don't get, it can't be $20 difference just for the licensing fee on those figures. And here's a cool one too, the Swarm figure, Swarm Trooper. I mean, I just like him. He looks, like you could fit him as an army builder or something in some other lines. But so yeah, I don't know what I was saying. I guess what I'm saying is, Super 7 announced Silverhawks. I was all hyped up about it, but I knew in the back of my mind these were going to be $55 figures just because that's what they've been charging for all the Ultimates. And then when I saw the quality of the figures, like, okay, there's no vac metal. That's the main selling point behind the Silverhawks because, as when they were released as toys in the 80s, they were vac metal figures. They looked really shiny, really cool, and you're taking away the main thing that made them cool, and you're overcharging us through the roof for subpar figures. And then I look at somebody like Bobby Vala and what he's doing, and it's like, you're getting cool figures over here for $20 less than what you're getting right here. Something just doesn't add up. And it makes me go even further. Like Super 7 sells those little retro, reaction figures that I've bought a few, honestly. $19.99. And sometimes, maybe even more for a five POA figure.
That's that big.
That's, 4 inches tall. How is that possible?
Well, answer this because I'm still not very familiar with the Super 7 line. So if I remember correctly from how you described them, they were a lot of very basic, like in terms of what they were figures, kind of like very small, very not very movable, I guess, like very.
Yep.
Well, you remember like at Movie Stop and all that. You remember all the movie lines they started licensing those and making figures for them and stuff.
So this is where I'm getting to with it. Do they make these type of figures? Because those look like those have a lot of movement to them, kind of like they look more similar to like Series McFarlane type stuff with much more movement. Have they done that have they done a lot of that also? Like
Super 7?
Yeah.
I guess he's asking, is this their first foray into
No.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was wondering. Like, if this was their first time, maybe they're having at a higher price to kind of make back the money that would probably go into this whole new process.
They've been doing this for years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and they specialized in kind of like statues before those retro figures and stuff, right? Or something like that, wasn't it?
No. I don't think they had statues.
Well, I call them statues, but I thought they were like bigger figures, like just bigger, like stylized or posed figures or something.
I don't know if
maybe I'm getting them confused with somebody else. But anyway, yeah, I remember when they started putting out those something like that, but they were.
Yeah, share the screen and I'll show Ray what I'm talking about with these 5 POA figures. Mm-hmm. So you can see these are basic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
but $18 freaking for that.
Mm-hmm.
And see this right? These are $10 toys. This is $10 toys for me. Funko, I couldn't see spending $20 on this.
Because when Reaction first came out, they actually used Funko to distribute everything. So. Mm-hmm. The first couple of waves, and I think they had Arrow and the Flash TV show figures, and they were like $9.99.
It sounds like they were really relying on because I'm looking at all the lines, all these characters. It sounds like there's 2 big factors in their confidence in selling these. It seems like one, both of them fall into the same thing. One is nostalgia for these type of figures, and one is nostalgia for these, kind of classic characters in this form. Because I remember when these kind of toys are still kind of around. Even I think they're getting toward the end when I was little, but yeah, I still remember seeing these type in stores.
Mm-hmm. It just seems like why is this company out of any other company trying to overcharge people for this stuff? I don't get it. I don't
either. I really don't.
Hasbro sells a ton of this guy right here. Well, he doesn't come with like a bajillion accessories. Actually, he's pretty pathetic. Comes with 2 extra hands and a Build-A-Figure piece. Well, not even Build-A-Figure.
So he doesn't even have a shield?
No shield. He comes with a fourth of one or a half of one wing for Sam Wilson. That's the Build-A-Figure part.
The Build-A-Figure is actual like
his wings. Sam Wilson's wings. Yeah. So Sam Wilson is a separate figure that you buy.
So the Build-A-Figure is actually just an accessory for Sam Wilson.
Yes. And $22.99. So this was already a little more expensive. Mm-hmm. And that's all you give me, plus you give me quality control issues and a crappy paint job on the chest.
Mm-hmm.
I might need to just write the company. Just say I need a refund.
I know. I'm not going to do that because
it's strange because I can maybe I don't know, maybe it's an oversight when it comes to maybe stuff that sell that they have to maybe make more of, because I think to that Drizzt figure that I got for Brittany, mm-hmm. and I can look at that. I don't think we've opened it yet, but still, like just looking at it's the detail is astounding, and it's
still, it is.
It looks great. Paint job looks great. Doesn't look like it was half done, half mm-hmm. baked. So I don't know what's going on.
I can accept the paint job because mm-hmm. I think they came out and actually said they didn't have final photos when this went into production. But only including a freaking couple of fists and then that crappy Build-A-Wing.
I think for that figure and watching the Winter Soldier, I think the most disappointing aspect is that he should have had a shield with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean I know it's Sam's shield, but in fitting with what happened in the show, he did have a shield for part of the series. So it feels like he should have had one.
He didn't get his shield at the end of the show.
Not at the very end, but he had one before that. He had the shield up until he murdered the guy out in the middle of the street with the shield.
I thought what's her name gave him a shield.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. It wasn't. Yeah, it was not Steve's shield. It was a replica of Steve's shield, I think.
Yeah, because he's supposed to have like a black and white and red shield.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I would expect an accessory like a shield.
Oh yeah.
But the whole theme of the show was the theme of who should be the one wielding that symbol. The symbol of that the shield. Whether or not it's the real one or not. But
and two, for all they're talking about. Maybe I need better lighting in here, and you can't see this real great. But the face sculpt on this is pretty not Wyatt Russell either.
The mouth. From what I can see, the mouth looks all right.
That's
all I can see.
He might look like it from back, a little bit, but when you get up close, it doesn't look like it to me.
Mm.
And usually Hasbro's pretty spot on here lately with their little face technology stuff that they've been doing,
for sure.
Printed faces or whatever.
Why did no one tell me that Wyatt Russell was Kurt Russell's son?
You couldn't tell by looking at him?
No.
Oh my God!
I did not know that
you like him.
Like, I mean, I know who is it? Kate Hudson. I know that she's progeny of them, but I did not know Wyatt Russell. I did not know. I don't. Maybe it's because the name would just seem like a common name, but for some reason it never clicked in my mind that this is Kurt Russell's son.
And he actually tried out for Captain America at the same time Chris Evans did. I'm glad Chris Evans got it.
Hey, man, brother, because Chris Evans is the best Johnny Blaze and whatever his name is, and what's the Human Torch? What was his name? The Human Torch's real name,
Johnny Storm.
Yep.
Who's Blaze? Was that Ghost Rider?
Nicolas Cage.
Ghost Rider. Okay. Cage. I was going to say there's Johnny Blaze from Ghost Rider and there's Johnny Storm, who's a flame in.
Stan rotated a lot of names, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things being rotated back then in rotation.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. But no, I mean, it was a good time. It was a good time in comics, and I'll be ready to see X-Men in the new MCU, to be honest with you. Like the way they did Spider-Man, they've done a good job so far. Kind of feels like it's at a slow crawl, piece by piece with the new Spider-Man, but I just overall like how they've handled the character. So I'm excited for when we get back to the X-Men again, because part of me just has always wanted to see, like, on the screen some version of the animated series of X-Men. You know what I mean? Like Wolverine, Cyclops, Jubilee, and Beast, and all them, like, fighting Sentinels and all that stuff. I want to see that with today's technology in the MCU.
They'll do that.
It's gonna be a hard thing to pull off, though. Like, it's gonna be an interesting thing because, well, you think about, you got to think about the social commentary of what X-Men were.
Mm-hmm.
They were civil rights. That was big civil rights commentary. About judging people without, just on what they are. About how they look. And the weird thing is, how is this going to fit into the MCU? It's a world where superpowers are not as uncommon now. And that's going to be interesting to see how they're going to try to fit that in, because they've got to come across this idea of this class of people, and maybe they've got to attack it from that Senator Kelly viewpoint, where you get that conservative type of fear, like you pick the bad ones and then you try to lump them in and say this is all of them. You take this one sect and it's not just this one, it's all of them. They're all this. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out.
It would take a good screenwriter to flesh it out, but I think it could be done.
Yeah, because I mean, that's even if they do it as a film. Disney Plus is playing its hand right now with how TV shows are going. They may at least start it. Maybe they might start tackling it as some kind of ongoing series at first. I'm curious to how they're going to do it, though.
I mean, I can see like a congressman or something getting up talking about, we made Captain America. With our technology. We didn't make these people. They're born this way. They're going to take over. I don't know, but it would kind of change the status quo of the MCU.
Mm-hmm. They can, but that's kind of the angle I would think they would go with. Would be, you've got your heroes, and some of them are people we've made, and some of them are whatever. But then you've got mutated people that could go crazy, and they could kill a lot of people and not mean to. And so we've got to start putting them in camps and all that kind of stuff because they're harm to themselves as much as society.
What would probably
it gets even.
Yeah, what would probably happen is, I mean, I'm thinking just from a narrative standpoint, what would probably have to be a crux is something along the lines of kind of some of the stuff that happened with Civil War, as in some inadvertent tragedies happen.
Yep.
And the common factor is that the epicenter of any of these tragedies was some mutant either lost control or they kind of just snapped because, of circumstances. And then, that's the thing where it's like, oh, they're bad, because I remember people bringing this up when when Marvel bought Fox, and finally it was a real thing that was going to be happening. X-Men will eventually fold into the MCU now. It would not in the current cinematic form. It's going to have to be its own thing. But yeah, people were talking about it's going to be how are you going to bring in superpowered altered people into a world where superpowers aren't a new thing anymore
because of this. What is it? Sokovia Accords.
I think.
Yeah, so. we know all the superheroes. They're registered with us.
Registered, yeah.
These mutants, they're a problem.
So there you go.
Yeah.
MCU lore thing here, real quick, because maybe I'll keep better track of it. So the Sokovia Accords, that's that never got repealed or anything. That's still in place.
If it did, they didn't say anything. Yeah, they didn't say anything about
it. Okay, interesting.
But who knows after Endgame? I don't know. It could be like, they brought all of them back. Yay, hooray for the Avengers!
I mean, because I think the only post Endgame story we've had so far is WandaVision and Spider-Man Far From Home, Far From Home, and Loki doesn't really take place.
Or does it?
Loki's all over the place.
Yes.
And Falcon and Winter Soldier also takes place post Endgame,
and I think they mentioned the Accords in that show.
Yeah, they did. I think they did some. Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah. Have either of y'all watched Loki yet?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great. So I'm ready to keep going with it. So
yeah,
fun to see Owen Wilson getting into the game.
Anything if you just throw Owen Wilson on something, it's like putting a good seasoning on your steak. I mean, it's only going to get better. It's just like, what a beautiful man. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. He's the man. Anyways, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week, guys. We're going to end it on Owen Wilson. Just think of his face. Think of his beautiful face and his beautiful nose, that broken nose.
Twice broken, I believe.
Twice broken.
Just twice broken. And think about the fact that he's right now, while you're doing whatever you're doing, he's just sitting back, relaxing in Hawaii with Willie Nelson. Just think about that. Think about that. Well, somebody else too. I just can't think of who it was. It was like
in Harrelson, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, and Woody Harrelson. So if something happened to Hawaii, we'd lose some heavy hitters. Three treasures we'd lose. That would be a huge hit. So everybody think about that when you go to sleep tonight and pray for them.
Yep.
Peace, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yep. Check out Figure Attack on YouTube
and watch Invincible.
Yeah.